hooked you a Goldie.
Oh, it's a choo-choo.
Amtrak.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Yep. You got stung.
I got done.
You got stung.
That's 3 pickups then. Shorter hook length, anti-tangle sleeve should change things up. A little short by a little bit. A little bit left of my spot. I'm encroaching on your water. Pull them up. You off. It was such a hard hit, eh? You smashed and a big drop off. Swam right in. That is one scrappy fish. Settle down. Nice little result. It's a little it's a little late in the morning. We got a late start today, but this pretty much is our the first of our winter sessions for this season, and the first fish to kick off pretty much the next 4 months of really cold temperatures and, you know, difficult fishing. This one came to a very quick tactical change, which I'll go over in a few minutes. Hopefully, we can get into another one. So as I mentioned, the tactical change that was needed to get that take, I'll go over with you now. That was actually my 4th run so far this morning. Well, second run, and we've had 2 really hard pickups or whacks that just didn't produce anything. In the first run, I set into nothing. I was using a much longer rig, you know, a couple inches longer, and I did not have a hook liner or a blowback tube on there. However, I was using the same bait. So what I've got on here is a 100 gram, I guess it's kind of like a paste bomb, an inline lead. This is one I got from Canadian Carp Club shop. You know, Tony was nice enough to send a couple of these along, so I really appreciate that. Shorter hook length, you know, just so there's not much. Basically, the length of my anti-tangle sleeve is the same length of bare line that I have, or bare hook length that I have to my split shot. About 4 millimeters from the split shot to the hook liner, size 4, universal perfection, the blowback tube on there. And the bait is, I think, the other key element. I caught on this bait last week for the very first time, and I was quite pleased with it because I had a lot of liner activity. There was a lot of fish that seemed to be interested in it. And this is the mainline Banoffee wafter. So I'm fishing a lot of metal there, but it's still, you know, this 13 or 14 mil is just enough to pop that up. So when they're around it, it's definitely moving around really well. And yeah, did the job. Finally got a nice little bite that I can actually put in the net. So as I mentioned, we're into our winter sessions now. It's middle of November, and this is pretty much what it's going to be until middle of March, let's say. Who knows how much snow we're going to get or how much these spots are going to freeze. So over the course of the next few months, the plan is to try out some new things. We're going to continue to chase carp, but we're going to go back and do a little bit of trout fishing. I really want to go back to some of the spots that I went to as a youngster and fish for some pike, if the pike are still moving in those spots these days. But yeah, that's the plan. Move around and just have fun this winter. Try new things. Overall, just have a great time and not focus so much on, not so much necessarily on the precision and the key elements of the tactics to get whatever we can get as big as we can get, just to keep catching fish consistently through the winter, because that's going to be tough for everybody. So I'm going to put this back in, see what else we can get. Goldie's had a few liners himself, so hopefully there's one coming to his way. And then, we'll see how the rest of the morning goes. We're nearing the end of our session, and I think it's a little obvious now that we're in a different location. We definitely made the most out of our spot this morning. Had several bites, landed one, lost one of the stumps unfortunately. That one was really gutted about. That was a better fish. We wanted to move around, try some of our other spots and see what is producing still. There was fish that came out of one of our spots about 3 weeks ago. Dave and Clint have been fishing it, so we thought we'd try there. Well, the water's down 3 feet and there's nothing but salmon swimming around, so no carp bites over there. With the lake being glass calm, it was just inevitable we had to come over here and try it once we saw the conditions like this. And I did have a fish rise while I was putting bait out, but we've been plagued by ducks and other waterfowl, so it's not likely that we're going to get a bite tonight. But it was worth a shot while the conditions were right. And I think that's what the winter sessions are going to be all about. Making the most of the conditions, chasing the right species on the day, being so close to the Niagara River and so many other great areas where we are. When that water's clear in the Niagara, you have to get down there into the gorge, chase after the trout. If it's muddy, which is quite often when the winds pick up, you know what? We have spots like this. We have spots like where we were this morning. We have other locations we can try for different species. And that's going to be the focus for the next few months. Making the most out of our time and the species and the tactics that are available to us. And just keep producing fish in the colder months. Once spring comes back in mid-March or so, it's on. And it's going to be on fire, I think. I think it's going to be a great year next year. But we're going to make the most out of it and have the best time we can until then. So the winter sessions have begun.